Recorded live from the floor of the North American Honeybee Expo, it's Beekeeping Today podcast presented by Better Bee. I'm Jeff Ott.
And I'm Becky Masterman.
Becky, we're starting on our third and last day, Saturday morning.
Pretty exciting. We made it, and the line in getting into the exposition hall was insane.
Seemed like it wrapped around the building.
It seemed very impressive for a third day of a beekeeping conference exposition.
And everyone is excited today. And I'm excited right now because we have two friends of the podcast.
Yes.
Jeff Johnson and Phil Breed. They're here representing Premier Bee Products. Welcome, guys.
We're glad to be here. Thanks for having us, Jeff and Becky.
Yes. I would just like to say that we've been trying to get them over here to record for, this is the third ask, because they're so busy in their booth because people are so excited about your products, right?
This show is just outstanding. We tried to get over here on Thursday afternoon and it was crazy, and we tried to get over here on Friday and it was crazy, and finally Phil and I said, we got to get over there right away this morning. Here we are.
Correct.
I mean, I was starting to take it personally, but then every time I walk by, I see that you are engaged with people who are excited about your hives and your frames, your hive bodies and frames. Can you tell us a little bit, because I know, Jeff, you've been on the podcast, but just tell people why your product is different.
Well, thanks for asking, Becky. We're located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We've been making frames, boxes, and foundation now for 5-6 years. So we're pretty new in the industry, especially in the woodenware world. Some of our competitors have been in it for 100 years. But bringing a fresh set of eyes, I think, opened a bunch of opportunity for us, because we could use, in the manufacturing world, we didn't have equipment that we'd been using for the last 30 or 40 years. We were able to put a fresh set of eyes on it and use equipment really that has come out in the last 10 or 15 years, like the CNC machines and things like that can give us, like for instance, the joint on our boxes, we do a half-blind dovetail, which is a lot to say. It's a joint that used to be something that only an artisan woodworker could do. Now a CNC machine can do it in little to no time. It's an extremely strong joint. If you bought any kitchen cabinets lately, it's what they do on kitchen cabinet drawers, because it's so strong. So that's just one example. Phil, Phil's the beekeeper of the bunch. He's got experience with the boxes. So Phil, why don't you tell them what you think of the boxes?
No, gladly. I know Jeff and I met at the same time you and I met, Becky, I think about 3 summers ago at Fargo at Tri-State Convention. And that's pretty much where our friendship started.
Yep.
And so we started trying things, and I know Jeff has pitched some ideas. Hey, what do you think about this? Let's try it. Make some changes here or there to get it going. But for me as a beekeeper in the yard with Premier Product, I'm absolutely loving it. And told Jeff, I think maybe a year ago, all right, my plan is to transition everything over. And then as we started going with Propola, I say we, like I'm working with the government. I'm going to include me as we, Jeff.
Okay.
Then I started working with Propola and then Endurawax, and that just what has happened in my bee yard with my bees and equipment has been phenomenal.
And let's tell people what the Propola hive is.
Yeah, that's cool.
You got the biggest history in this one.
Okay. The quick answer to Propola hive is the academic community, specifically Dr. Marla Spivak, spent many, many years trying to figure out why feral beehives that live in trees tended to be healthier than bees that were put in a typical square hive body. And they figured out that if there is a propolis envelope in the tree, that's what's causing some additional health benefits. And so as manufacturers, we looked at that and said, okay, we need to figure out how to make the inside of a hive body like the inside of a tree, so the bees will put a propolis envelope in it. So the Propola box, it's standard dimensions, except the inside of it makes the bees think it's the inside of a tree, and they put a propolis envelope in it, and that allows them to get the health benefits that Mother Nature wants them to have.
And it's a beautiful envelope that they put in there.
Yes.
It is, I
It's
agree.
equally deposited. It's very nice. Okay, I just have to bring this up. So Phil and I are Facebook friends.
We are.
Phil has it's a group. Is it Birdsong Bees?
Birdsong Bees is my Facebook page.
It's
Yes.
your
Wait, say
Facebook
that
group.
again?
Birdsong Bees.
Birdsong.
I hope you're okay with us sharing it.
No, you go.
But a couple of things. One, he's one of the most positive posters of all things bees and others, and so it's always a joy to see his posts. But then you might get a little annoyed because he's way ahead of all of us as far as preparing his equipment. He's already got his supers painted for next year, which is so annoying. But what I loved last year is that he exchanged all of his equipment for Propola equipment.
Yes.
And again, he's ahead of all of us. But it was fun to see him work through that process and prepare the boxes and have a goal for his apiary.
Well, I think one of the things I like, and especially once you started going with Propola, is like propolis was everyone's enemy.
Yes.
It was
Right.
the thing that
Yeah.
stuck to everything and stained your clothes and messed up your screen on your phone. And you know me, Becky, the words that go through my brain, and I just kept thinking propolis. So I break that down. Propolis, before the city. Where's the city? And so it wasn't until I started learning about the inside of tree cavities and then noticing, okay, on my smooth inside hives, there's no, before the city, there's no shield or barrier. So when Premier was coming out with Propola, I was like, let's do this. And I know you can't see it from what I'm holding in front of you right now. But I brought a hive box in that has 2.5 months of bees in it. And when you compare the feel of that box to the demo, the raw, it's just insane. 2.5 months,
Right.
what they're willing to do.
And it's one of those things where you visually can see it.
Yes.
And then there are really good data to support that it is good for the colony. And I know that a lot of people say, go ahead, rough up that interior, but it's something
It's
that
different.
It doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't work just to scratch it a little bit. It doesn't give that completeness of it.
And taking the time. I have a friend. No. Speaking from experience, it takes a heck of a long time with a brush on
wire brush or something
on
like
a
that.
drill bit to try to rough that up. You say, and with the beekeeper mentality, say, well, I can rough it up. It's way different, and it's
Yeah.
so much easier. And you were talking, Jeff, about the boxes and using a CNC machine. And I'm sure you're not the only person in the world using CNC on wood, but I remember years ago going to the root factory and seeing things run by just blades and conveyor. There are big belts in the building just running these blades, and your cut really depended on when was the last time they sharpened that blade, or when was the last time that blade was changed out, or something like that. And that would change from day to day. And I know that what I've experienced with the Premier Bee boxes, they're really solid. You said cabinetry work.
Yeah.
And we just rebuilt our entire house, or a new house, and the cabinetry there, it's like it fits tight, and it's like, well, this fits just like the beehive, the Premier Bee box. So it was,
Jeff, I would challenge you when you get home tomorrow or the
no.
next day, pull out a drawer in your kitchen and look at the joint on the drawer. It will be a half-blind dovetail, because that's what the cabinet industry uses now.
that's very cool.
Yep.
I like the boxes. So I started using them last year after we talked last year. So it's really cool.
Another thing with our box that's kind of interesting that everybody kind of notices is our handle looks upside down.
It does.
And we did that for a reason. All the other box manufacturers have kind of a traditional looking handle, but the handles always held a little bead of water on the bottom of the handle when it
yes.
rained. And we wanted to design a handle that would shed all the water so we didn't have that little bead down there that causes the paint to come off, and that's where the rot starts.
Oh, very cool.
Interesting.
And most beekeepers have pretty big hands in the commercial world, so we made our box handle an extra inch wider so they can actually get 4 fingers into the handle instead of 3 when they're lifting it off.
Now, did you have a play on that? was that part of your input for the Phil?
No, I just got to benefit from it. I wasn't brainstorming of that at all. That was
the
all
first
Jeff.
time Phil saw the handle, he goes, "That looks upside down."
I did.
It's like, well, but that's for a reason.
And every now and then when I'm out in the yard and I have a box that I haven't switched over, it throws me for a second. It's like, did I flip that upside down? I wasn't paying attention. It's like, nope.
That's funny. That's great.
Oh, very cool. Well, guys, I wish you success with the show. I know that you're having success,
Yes.
but I want to say that you have a great booth. If anybody, well, if by the time you hear this episode, everyone's going to be gone, but will you be at the Midwest Honeybee Expo?
You know, I think I'm going to be there as an attendee.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. You know, the other thing I would say to all your listeners is if you haven't been to this show, get it on your calendar, because this is an experience, a beekeeper, your eyes will be wide open walking around thinking, wow, this is cool. There is so much stuff to do and learn here.
Yeah.
And I would add onto that, so many open people. It's like everything exterior out in the outside world is dropped when you come through the door, and it's about bees and networking connections here.
Yeah. I've had so many great conversations with just beekeepers in the coffee line, in the muffin line.
Yes.
It's just you're in the hallway, in the vending area. It's been great.
Even in the hotel lobby, so it's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. We sure appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for stopping by.
Everybody, we're here with a return guest from last year. We shared almost booths right next to each other.
Yes.
Not almost,
Our
we
neighbor.
did. We did,
We
yeah.
were right aside of each other. Yes.
Herman Dannenhauer from Hog Half Comb. You sell those, right? You take that. You took that over now.
Yeah, John Hogg was deceased. Maybe even 15 years now. So I really had an interest in that system, and the family sold me the mold so I can make the cassettes. He had a system where you would make 40 of these honeycombs in a super for a 10-frame hive, or 32 in an 8-frame hive. And I recently designed a frame so the small 1 or 2 hive beekeeper could make 8 honeycomb in the middle of an extracting super, because not everybody wants to commit to 40 honeycomb,
Right.
but most beekeepers like to have a couple honeycomb around. So the frame is really ideal for a smaller beekeeper. It fits right in the middle, and you put extracting frames on either side of it, and if they're drawn comb from last year's extraction, the honeybees are really attracted to that. And the comb honey in the middle, they don't like that void, so they'll go in and fill you up, making 8 nice honeycombs.
That's really slick, because one of the challenges with producing any kind of cut comb or rounds or half comb or anything is you need a good strong flow. And your system, it seems like it would be, even if you had a partial flow, if you got that 2-frame system in, you would be able to produce at least some comb for your own personal enjoyment or for the occasional market or whatever you have.
Well, producing honeycomb is challenging of
Yes.
any kind. Honeybees do not really want to draw out foundation of any kind, but drawn comb they are attracted to. So this frame goes in between this drawn comb, and it ups your chances of getting some really nice comb honey. And if the honey flow fails or you don't get comb that you like, if you set this frame out and let the bees rob out honey that you didn't get finished, you put it back in next year, and with some drawn comb in there, they're
Very valuable.
very attracted to that, and eventually you will be successful and not lose your investment. Yes.
Sure. Now, I bought some last year, and I got a nice surprise in one of the apiaries, because I looked and they were starting to draw it out, and they were putting in this reddish colored honey, and it turns out it's Japanese knotweed honey.
Oh, that's good honey. Yeah.
Not only did I get the half comb, but I also got a varietal in it, which was just such a nice surprise.
Yeah.
So it was exciting.
Were you using the frames or a full system?
I was just using the frames. I was
Okay.
using the frames. I dipped my toe in the water to see if I could be successful.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So One of the ways I make a complete super work is if I catch a swarm, I'll put the swarm in just one hive body and put a hog super on. Swarms almost never swarm again, and they're very industrious. So that's a nice way to make a swarm profitable. Make you a whole pile of comb.
Right, because the swarm is ready to build a bunch of comb, right?
Yeah.
And so if you give them comb for the brood nest and then put the super on top, then they're gonna want something to do.
I'd like to say I'm a good enough beekeeper to prevent swarming, but I'm not. I catch my fair share. So.
I think, Herman, there are the beekeepers who say their bees swarm and admit it, and then there are the other beekeepers whose bees swarm, but they pretend they don't.
I caught them all.
It never happens.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So if someone's interested in buying a half comb or experimenting, like Becky did this last year, dip her toes in it and just to see how it works, and if they enjoy it or if they have the customers for it, how do they get a hold of the hog half comb these days?
I do have a website, and you can purchase from me, but probably better to just purchase from Better Bee. They carry all of my things. Obviously, they can ship far more affordable than I can ship because they're geared up to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the hog half comb system and the frame, it's all available through Better Bee.
Well, we like hearing that. Better
We
Be,
do.
and of course, our primary sponsor. But that's not why we invited you here. Your hog half comb is really an affordable way to try comb honey, get away from the extracted or spun honey approach, and it's an exciting product. So thanks for bringing it to our attention. And I haven't tried it yet.
There's still
But this
time
might
to-
be there is time. This is going to be a better season.
Exactly.
This is going to be a better season.
Yeah.
But thank you for stopping by this morning to talk. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about?
Not really. I'm enjoying the North American Honeybee Expo, of course. It's exciting. There's lots of people here, and I appreciate you allowing me to talk and be on the podcast.
We enjoyed having you back and look forward to seeing you next year.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, we're sitting here in the booth. We're excited to welcome Eric Walgren from NAHBE, Greenlight Technologies. Or is it just
Greenlight Biosciences, yeah.
Yeah, all right, great. Well, Eric, welcome to the show. Last year we talked to Adam,
Yep.
and we've had him on the show since.
we
And but I'm excited to talk to you too. We missed you last year.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. My name's Eric Walgren. I work for a company called Greenlight Biosciences, and we have released the newest mode of action for varroa mite control nearly a decade. And it is a truly new mode of action. It's called NAHBE. It biologically stops the varroa mite from being able to lay eggs, reproduce. So it creates a new environment for varroa mite control that we haven't had as beekeepers. We're able to effectively apply NAHBE during times where mites are low, and we're able to hold those mites at low levels for from spring all the way till the fall treatment.
Wow. Critical time.
Critical time. If we can flatline that mite load, we see healthy colonies going in all the way through the honey production season. So this technology is extremely targeted at varroa, and what that means is that there's not any seen off-target effects on honeybees. So there's no acids that are affecting the honeybee colonies. There's no setback to the queens. There's no stopping of laying eggs. The colony continues to expand and grow while the treatment's in place. It's kind of like getting the benefits of a brood break without the actual brood break. We're seeing great adoption so far. We're exclusively available through Man Lake. We're selling a lot of it. Beekeepers are buying it and trying it, and we're excited to get it into the hands of beekeepers and have a season with it in colonies.
Fantastic.
Eric, who came up with the name NAHBE? It's so catchy.
Yeah, I actually personally came up with the name. So I'm their sales rep for that would be my title. I helped them sell the company. I actually introduced it to Man Lake before they actually were the exclusive partner.
Okay.
And I also came up with the name, and I in a past life worked in marketing and came up with names and slogans and advertisements, and I have a knack for it. And I was looking at the names they were coming up with, and I said, let me have a crack at it.
Nice.
And I just combined the word no with varroa, and
There you go.
NAHBE. And usually when that process happens, with creativity. You find that some other company has that, but it is truly a made-up word.
Right.
So we're able to get that as the trade name for the product.
That's a fun story.
Yeah.
Well, it's also nice, personally speaking, to be able to pronounce it. It's very
And
nice.
it's not appy.
It's not
that
appy.
was my goal.
It's not what?
It's not appy.
Yeah.
This, appy.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Apis.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, Apis mellifera, appy, but like every other product.
This time there are multiple vehicles in the process of being towed on the back dock that are parked.
They're getting
If you are
serious.
parked on the back dock, please, at this time, you will need to be moving your vehicle. The back dock is for loading only.
People
It's
running.
temporary, not a permanent parking
Nice,
spot.
about four cases of it.
Additionally, if you have parked a truck and a trailer in the front of the Expo Center, you are at risk of being towed and ticketed as well. If you have a truck and a trailer, the parking is in the back of the Expo Center, not the front. Again, security is in the process of ticketing and towing the trucks and trailers blocking multiple vehicles in the front of the Expo Center. If you have a truck and a trailer in the front, please move it to the back parking lot at this time. Thank you.
Where you would be towed and ticketed there.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were? Where were we?
The name.
We talked about registering it, appy,
Yeah.
and then
Appy. I was talking about appy. Everything's appy.
did we move
Yeah.
on? Is that it?
So, okay, we'll start. And I asked, what did you say? And you said appy, and you can start down that thread. Remember? I said, what was it? Happy? And you said no, appy.
Oh, okay.
Appy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But, all right.
That's a group. Okay.
3, 2. What was that?
No, it's just other products on the market, use appy.
Oh, all right,
In
yeah.
their naming. So when I was trying to come up with names for what's now called Nero, I didn't want to call it appy this or appy that or apis this or apis that. I know it's Apis mellifera, so a lot of companies are coming up with names, but I wanted it to be unique because this product is unique. So I thought, let's come up with a name that's truly unique.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Eric, one of the things I like is that there are beekeepers in the trade show carrying around heavy boxes of treatment.
Yeah.
And I actually had one stop by earlier, and we had this great conversation about. She was trying to figure out how to incorporate the treatment into her management, and it's exciting because, as you mentioned, you need to start with a lower mite level, and then it'll help keep that mite level low.
Yeah.
And so it was just a nice conversation about how she was going to incorporate it, and
Yeah, it's an education from my perspective. We have to educate beekeepers on how to apply it correctly.
Right.
Because everything we've used now is kind of attempting to kill veromites. Well,
Right.
we don't kill veromites, we prevent reproduction. So we have to tell them low mite loads are essential. You can't use this as your only treatment in late fall with
There's
a
a
10%.
white Ford F-150 Manitoba license plate LPV 512. LPV 512.
This guy should be kicked out of the conference.
F-150. You are about to be towed off the loading dock at this time.
you said it was an education. You said, I'm trying to think of where you were literally wrapping up your thought.
Yeah.
You want me to start over from that thought process? It's a
Yeah, just continue on the riff of it's not an
It's an education. Or
Yeah, it's beekeeper education.
Okay. Yeah, so it's really our job to educate beekeepers about this new mode of action because it's different than anything we've had as beekeepers. What we've had is products that kill veromites, and we attempt to use a contact poison to kill the veromite. Where this is actually
If
biological.
you have a white Toyota Tundra in the front parking lot with an extended bed, the police are waiting for you at your vehicle right now. You're blocking 12 spots in the front of the lot. Again, if you have a white Toyota Tundra in the front lot, the security is out there waiting for you. Kentucky license plate N7A231. Again, you are blocking vehicles from getting out. Security is waiting for you at your vehicle to discuss.
your imprisonment? What? Are they going to be arrested? This is really unfriendly. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I forgot where I was
I
at.
know. I'm trying to remember.
So just say, wrap it up by saying that it's you had just completed a thought about it. It doesn't knock down the varroa. You stop the reproduction.
Yeah, stop the reproduction. Was that enough? Do you
I think that's
okay.
I could say, by stopping reproduction, we're allowing beekeepers to control mites for extended periods of time. So when you get in front of reproduction, in our field trials, we've seen consistent results of up to 4.5 months of control with one application that only needs to stay in the hive for a few short days usually, until the bees move through the sugar syrup pouches that are, that's what NAHBE is. It's delivered in a sugar syrup pouch.
Oh, that's fantastic. I will try it this year. Just the spring.
Sorry, I got excited because I also talked to another beekeeper yesterday who had NAHBE in their hands, and I said, so how are you going to apply it? Because the kind of interesting novel thing is that you are actually recommending for some that they can put it on the bottom board, which is, for beekeepers, it's kind of like, oh, you can do what, huh? And but they were excited to try that version. And then I talked to somebody today who's going to use a spacer and put it on in between their colony.
I don't think it makes a difference.
Bodies.
We haven't, the field trials we did were kind of split between bottom board and on the top. I just know, especially at a hobbyist convention, that they may not have shims, and it's a challenge to find that. So it's always, by the way, we did our field trials on the bottom board too. There's typically always enough space on the bottom board for the
and they can just slide it in the front.
And bees will clean it up. That's what they're doing really, is they're moving this 61% sucrose solution, and it's getting incorporated into the brood food stores. And the bees themselves are extended, releasing it into multiple generations of brood, thus multiple generations of mites.
I'm just going to say, you mentioned shims. Right across the aisle for us, Better Bee. I've ordered so many spacers from Better Bee this year. They're really, really good costs. You get a quantity,
they have a good
quantity
shim.
discount.
I got shims myself for one of my apiaries I was at Kentucky Man Lake doing a NAHBE presentation, and they had like a garage sale.
Oh,
and they were just giving them away. So I got a bunch of I didn't have to build any.
But a lot of times people cutting down supers from like mediums to the shorts, or to deeps to mediums.
And I talked to a beekeeper today who makes their own shims, which I think was bragging on his part.
Well, Eric, I know you have to get back to man your booth. Because you have your partner leaving. We appreciate you stopping by, giving us an update on NAHBE. I look forward to talking to you next year at this time. I think we'll hear a lot of great things about NAHBE.
All right, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
We are excited to have Rich Morris here. Rich is a friend of the podcast. Rich, what do you think of the show?
It's great fun. We've just been having a great week. Everybody, seeing your friends, we've been doing it long enough that we do that. I ran into Jim too, and we hugged and do all that sort of stuff.
Nice.
So it's really fun.
Jeff, did you mention he's from Broodminder? I don't know if you said that.
Oh, Rich Morris from Broodminder.
Everyone knows.
Okay, for the three people who don't know Rich.
I'm from Broodminder. And,
you're the head drone, right? You're a retired
I'm backing
drone.
away. Now Amanda, so there's 4 of us here, and that's been great to let us float around. Introduce Amanda, who's taking over, the bee in charge, to a lot of our friends and to people we've known over the years. She's doing a super job.
Right.
When we talked before, we were just going into our global summit.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Lorenzo was there.
Lorenzo and Maxime and Morgan came over from France, and Teo from Virginia, and Anya from North Carolina, and we had a really great week, sort of coupled with some fun events. Unfortunately, we also passed a virus around. So
no! So we caught you at a good time.
You did.
We caught you.
Did. We were just starting to get there.
Just starting.
And but everybody, the group is so gelled that I could disappear for an hour and sleep and all that. But we covered an awful lot of ground and got aligned. Talked a lot about AI. What role could, should, will it play?
Wow.
Because there's a lot of different flavors of AI. There's text-to-speech sort of stuff for documenting and working with the logbook. The time series stuff that we've been working with, Maxime and France have been doing a lot with that. Of course, the mite detection stuff that Steve's been working with.
Yeah.
So we had a lot to cover, and also, sort of like what's working, what's not working, what do we need to improve, and what's the next couple of years look like. So it was great.
That's really good.
I have a kind of a fun question. So Jeff and I just wrote a book
Okay.
and about beginning beekeeping, and we did include a part about technology in there, and so there
Jeff wasn't sure that happened.
Yes, I tried to get. No, I'm kidding. no. I wanted them in there, and I think there are about 4 different graphs from Broodminder sensors, and they really illustrate what's going on in the colony. But then I also had another conversation with an extension educator at a university, and we were just talking about how beekeeping instruction, some of it has left out the technology, and it's time to really bring that in.
Yeah.
It's time to, when we're talking about how to keep bees and we're teaching people how to keep bees, that we really do, even at universities and even state classes, things like that, there really has to be a section on the technology that you can use, especially as a new beekeeper, to help you understand what's going on in the colony.
Yeah, and we have known that takes time. You know, like I maybe said before, my brother has been a farmer since the 80s, and he's been slow to embrace technology, but it happens, and you just have to wait for it to organically happen. Some of the programs are touching on it more. The Midwest version, they've got a section of technology building into it. So we know that happens. One of the wonderful things about coming to these events is that we do have our current clients come up and tell us how they're using it, what they need, how it works, how it doesn't work, and that really motivates us to keep going.
Right.
And getting more and more people out. Teresa's book that she wrote, Dead Bees Don't Make Honey.
Teresa Martin.
Teresa Martin. That has given a lot of people a viewpoint into technology she is a very smart, but not wealthy beekeeper, and how to use that. And we've had a number of people come up and say, "Oh, I did this because I read the book,
That's great.
and I can see value." We want it to be valuable.
Right. So it almost had to be adopted by beekeepers, and then it's being brought into formal instruction,
right?
Because it is time.
Yeah.
So.
And we have people like Anya McGurk, who brought it into her club, and they're doing this as a club. So that's the other way education happens. Right. Very local, county by county, or those sorts of clubs. So as we get people in, we try to support them with educational material.
Right.
Or with speakers like Anya and Teresa, who go out there and talk about this stuff and say, okay, here's what it does, here's what it doesn't.
Well, Rich, I know they're waiting for you back in the booth. We just didn't want to monopolize your time.
I could stay here all day, Jeff.
That would be called hiding out, Rich. That would be called hiding out. And we should try to track down Amanda at some point.
Yeah.
Will you guys be at the Midwest Honeybee Expo?
We will be. That'd be a great time.
That's
yes,
your backyard.
It won't be quite as crazy busy as this
That'd be
one.
real good.
Yes,
We'll make
it's
sure we
right
talk
in
to
my
Amanda
backyard.
at that point.
Okay,
Excellent.
Get her perspective on things after she'd been at the reins for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be great.
Okay. Well, good.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you
Rich.
so much, Rich. We appreciate you stopping by.
Okay. Bye.
Everybody, I'm excited right now because we have sitting in the Beekeeping Today podcast booth great friends from Better Bee, Dr. David Beck.
Hello.
And Ann Fry.
Hi.
And from Honeybee Obscura. And is Dr. Kim too.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Becky.
And Jeff.
I'm just
Welcome, Jeff.
relaxing, making Jeff do all the hard work here.
I'm about 25% here.
And who are you?
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, for being here. I know you guys, every time I looked over there to try to talk to you and flag you down, you
So
were
busy.
So busy. Yeah.
Just
That's
never
great.
ending.
My feet are exhausted. It's the first time I've sat down all day.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we were able to help you out.
Yeah. This is a great little break.
I'm glad you arrived today and could
Right.
stand in our booth.
Came in yesterday, but was here for the day.
So you came in late because
Yes.
you were where?
So I was down at the American Beekeeping Federation meeting, the ABF meeting in Mobile, which was co-meeting with the American Bee Research Conference, which is the gathering of all the honeybee scientists in the country. So, well, not all of us, but many. Some present companies excluded. But there were a number of grad students and professors giving presentations, and then also having a number of really interesting conversations with commercial beekeepers, hobby beekeepers, hearing and talking about the scientists. But I needed to get up here for at least one day of this massive event. So I've really been double
Excellent.
dipping and hanging out with just about everybody who's anywhere right now.
That's great. It's so important for you to keep connected to all of those scientists as
Right.
a scientist yourself, because you are the one who takes that science and you translate it to all of Better Bees customers and the beekeepers, and,
Exactly.
and you help them. Well, go ahead.
It would be
I'm
embarrassing.
Doing your job
It would be
description.
embarrassing if I'm giving someone information and then it turns out that the cutting edge of science has actually proved that whatever I'm saying is now wrong.
Right.
So
right.
at the very least, I need to know it as soon as any scientist does, so that all the information that we're giving out is as closely aligned with that as it can be.
And our listeners know that we heavily depend upon you, especially for mite information, but for
Right.
a lot of other things, and to help us understand the differences between using equipment and then using it appropriately for the
Right.
honeybee biology.
We're in a similar line of work because both of, in my role and in your roles hosting a podcast, we have to keep our fingers on the pulse of everything that's going on, including all the new stuff,
Right.
and then make sure that gets out to all the beekeepers that are supposed to hear it as soon as possible so it can actually be useful to them.
Exactly.
I just want to quickly let everybody know, our listeners, that we had Chris Cripps join us, also from Better Bee.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome.
Fantastic. Yeah.
This is the biggest podcast table we've had at NAHBE, and it fits NAHBE because it's such a big expo.
It's
So-
absolutely enormous.
This is a who's who of the important people at NAHBE.
or the important people at
I
Better Bee.
personally think so. I agree with you, Ann. Thank you for pointing that out. I have to do that.
Yes.
So a number of us have been to NAHBE before. Chris, this is your first NAHBE. How do you find it?
So this is my first time here, and it's very hard to walk around. Because every time I walk anywhere, there's somebody I know, and I've got to stop and talk and then keep moving. But
Yep.
I have not seen everything yet because it's hard to get around.
I think I've only seen about 10 booths because I walked up to ours and I haven't been able to leave it since. So I'll have to make sure I go see some of our colleagues before they pack up.
I would
Yeah.
just like to point out these are the best problems to have, right?
Sounds good.
I've told multiple people I know. I've seen about 10 booths, and that's just those booths on the way to the bathroom
Right.
and back from the bathroom. And I've not seen anything on
Yeah.
either side.
It turns out the bathroom is prime real estate because everybody's got to go there eventually. Yeah.
That's
Well,
great.
so from Better Bee's perspective, what are you seeing at the show that kind of caught you off guard? What's unexpected? Anything?
I liked having Maggie come and chat with her a little bit. Maggie Gills, who
Maggie
had
Gill.
done all the research on the Tropolalaps mites and had her book published. I liked to hear a little more about the Tropolalaps and meet her myself. That was a nice opportunity.
I think that it was really cool because often, if we go to these conferences year after year, a lot of the businesses are the same. A lot of the people who work there is the same. So as Chris says, a lot of the beekeepers, a lot of the folks who might be at a booth. But the speakers can be, really interesting people from all over who have been flown in just for the purpose. So you wind up in a really interesting position. Okay. You wind up in a really interesting position to be able to meet folks who you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Maggie does not come to the U.S. very often as a UK-based scientist, frequently flying to Thailand studying Tropolalaps. So it's really cool to have her here sharing what she's learned with this American audience.
What about from a product standpoint? Chris, you said you hadn't been able to get far, but have you seen anything to hear that you might? I don't want to ask any.
This is really like a secret question.
Yeah, I don't want to ask any secret questions.
Check
but are
next year's catalog and you
Yeah.
might find out.
But is there anything that's really kind of caught you off guard? You don't need to mention names, but anything exciting?
Nothing's caught me off guard because I think there are a lot of people out there that are spending a lot of time thinking about bees and beekeepers. And there's a lot of innovative things that you see around here. There's a lot of stuff we have in the pipeline that hopefully becomes products that are worthwhile. There's other people here, they've got to the point where their products have become, ready to launch at least. So it's kind of interesting to see all that, all the thought that people put into coming up with new things.
Yeah.
And it's really gratifying too when someone has a new product and they say, geez, I don't want to send 75 different packages out via FedEx every day. It's nice when they seek us out and say, hey, Betterbee, would you be interested in this? Can we have that conversation? And it's nice to be able to find them and say, hey, we've got a warehouse, they can do all of that. Why don't we find a way that you can go develop the next new innovative thing, and then we can carry this cool innovation that you've now brought to the market.
It is a lot more interesting to develop new products than to put stickers on boxes and tape on boxes. And
Some folks will happily take that deal.
We talked to Herman today with the Hog Half Comb, and Jeff said, so where can I buy it? And he's like, I have a website, but just please order it from Betterbee.
Nice. I saw some interesting 3D printed items, the models of different larvae, pests, mites, also some little new tools, gadgets that would help with queen rearing, all kinds of different ways. 3D printing is
There's really cool
amazing.
educational products, things like that here that are always really fun to see. You might imagine if you've never been that it's just a bunch of people selling frames and boxes and foundation for different prices, but it really is lots of cool, innovative stuff. Bee-themed jewelry. You're going to see the coolest bee-themed jewelry in the country right here, right now, because if somebody's selling it, they want to be here.
There's somebody down here, I can't remember their name, and I apologize, but they're selling a little beacon you put in between two frames, and it puts out a sound. You hit your app on your phone, and it puts out some sort of sound, and it's supposed to be within 3 minutes. The queen is supposed to be on one
or something like that?
Yeah.
Or is it Obi-Wan? Is that their?
Obi-Wan,
Yeah,
right, Obi-Wan.
yeah.
It's just like
That's one of the booths that I promised them I'd go see, so I better run out and see him after this.
Oh, wait, you're going to leave?
Perfect. I'll go to the bathroom.
Not yet available, but it's on the way to the door. Right.
Yeah.
not yet available.
Chris, when you prepare to come to the conference, do you look at the list of vendors and like put a star next to a couple of them? Is that something
so
you do?
always look at people and you put stars and you
do? Okay,
try to
so-
make lists and who am I going to talk to and what do we need to talk about, and
Okay,
then
wow.
you
Then
get
you-
here
you
and
do a
find out
third
there's
of
a
that.
lot of other ideas and a
Okay.
lot of other people to talk to, and it's about a third of the list gets talked to.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Well, we have everybody's phone number, so
I
we'll
think
find
we
It
need
needs
to
to be
bring more people
5
to
more
the
days
booth.
longer, but I'm not sure that it should be 5 days longer. Or I need 10 people at the booth instead of 6 people at the booth.
Then you could wander.
What I will tell you is that it seems like the audiences are still super excited to hear the speakers, and the people walking around through the aisles are still energized. I mean, we have not hit the limit, and we are close to the show ending. So that's pretty impressive. Very impressive, I think.
I heard that the talks were all so popular that nearly every one of them was packed and people were squeezing in the edges.
Yes.
Another good problem to have.
Yeah, it's
You might need bigger rooms.
Yes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're videotaping all of the conferences, all the sessions. So those who miss them or don't hear them well can take them back home and listen to them.
And I believe generally those are also available for somebody to buy if they couldn't come to the conference. They can watch those presentations, but they're not going to get to sit in this cavernous room and see all of these really cool vendors. So, I wouldn't recommend that somebody skip the conference and just watch the videos, but if they're not able to make it, the videos certainly are a cool way to stay connected to it.
Absolutely. And more than half the experience of just being in this hall.
Absolutely.
And all the other beekeepers.
Have you guys been over to the honey show?
No.
It is a massive process. See before they wrap everything up, see if you can go stick your head in, because it is unbelievable to see that many exhibits, that many entries, that many judges in their white hats and their white coats and all their medallions and ribbons and things. And I don't understand how any of that works, but it's really impressive to see all of the effort and all of the
Pieces of flair.
Precision and artistry and skill that goes into preparing all those exhibits too.
We had talked to Stephanie Slater, and there have been others who have come by and won ribbons.
Big ribbons, really big ribbons.
They earn them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to win a ribbon, you don't want it to be little. Why not as big as my head?
Seriously, it's
I can wear
very
it as a hat if it starts to rain.
And they also had a big honey tasting. Did they have a honey tasting before?
From every stage, right?
Yep.
I never saw it before this year. I'm mostly just staying in here, but amazingly big honey tasting area.
They put it out in the lobby this year.
Yeah.
It used to be in one of the side
away.
rooms, and now it's out in the middle of everything, and you have to go by it. That's really amazing. get a real sugar buzz if you hit all of it.
You've got to pace yourself.
Better Bee is always innovative. So what's going on for 2026 that you maybe want to share?
We're doing more testing.
Yeah. We've gotten, leaving research and coming to Better Bee has been a really, I think, valuable for both me and for beekeepers opportunity that the company's provided me. But it has meant that I've had so many things up in the air that we haven't been able to do that much research. But Anne and I have been working together and adjusting, just how many nukes we're going to make and just how much honey we're going to try to harvest. And when we scale that back just a little bit, not getting rid of the bees by any means, but by scaling that back, there's more time freed up in both of our schedules for us to be able to design and conduct more experiments. So we're really excited. We've got some product, testing, and we're not ready to talk about that until we've done the testing and know if it's good or bad.
And some process.
But we've got some real, genuine, honeybee science that we're excited to be working on, and so we're going to be unveiling that as we uncover it, and that's a really exciting thing to look forward to for the season.
David, you just shared with us on another episode, but how many colonies does Better Bee manage approximately?
And we'll tell you better than I.
I forget that I'm
So we've
talking
scaled
to
down
the
a bit.
person who's managing.
How many colonies?
She's counting everybody.
About 220 honey production and about 400 nukes.
Which is so impressive for a company because you've got. You care how the equipment works.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Exactly. It's important to us that we maintain it because from a business perspective, it's not like we need the beekeeping operation to keep ourselves afloat. But in order to justify what we say and what we claim and to have a new product and to, if we can't test it because we don't have any hives, what good are we? But the fact that I can say, Anne, here's a new hive tool someone's given me, and instead of the inventor saying, hey, do you think that looks good? Does the price look good? I can write back and say, well, Anne snapped it in half, so we're not interested. Or, you know what, Anne actually told me that she wants me to ask you for 5 more and she's thrown away the rest of her hive tools. Either of those is going to give me a pretty clear sense about whether it does or doesn't belong in the catalog.
I like that.
Well, I've got a quirk. I've enjoyed being a neighbor here, sitting across the way. It's like you started out massive, and you're slowly going out of business. Inventory product gets less and less and less.
A couple of big machines wheeled away.
Booth space over there.
It's nice if it's all gone before the truck shows up to take it home.
If the cleanup is just us throwing our backpacks and a couple of tablecloths in, we're having a really good evening. But I don't think we'll quite get there.
Literally, as we speak, I see somebody taking all these crates that used to hold actual goods for sale, and they're stacking them.
Right, because we've run out of the inventory.
That's pretty exciting.
Well, along those lines, someone was standing here and they were talking to us, and I said, well, you had enjoying the show? And he said, yeah. And we're just kind of waiting now, and I'm going to start negotiating for the stuff that's left on the floor. It's like, they know.
They planned it.
They planned it.
Right.
They know they're not going to want to
Heavy
take that stuff back in the truck.
It
That's
is
a gamble.
amazing with this show how product oriented it is. The crew here is coming to buy their supplies, and everybody's got carts they're walking around with. They've got fighting for the truck spots on the loading dock. And it's just a lot of equipment
folks
moving.
Ordered in advance, and so they have the convenience of saying, hey, I'd like my box, and then they can walk it off to the car and no more thought given to it. But it is between the folks that planned ahead and the folks that are buying here at the booth. We brought multiple truckloads down, and it'd be great if we had a handful of things to take home.
It has got to have changed your business in December because you're now managing massive pre-orders because your loyal customers are getting a heads up with all these great deals.
Right, they know
and new
they'll see us
customers
here.
are learning about you.
Right.
And so it really has to shift. Like, you can't take off in December now.
The warehouse crew had, since NAHBE started, they've got a new life in December.
In December.
Yep.
And they're great. They're great too.
Awesome. It's very cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming over, getting away from your customers in this last day and talking with us. Thank you for your support for the Beekeeping Today podcast and Honeybee Obscure for the last bunch of years. And we couldn't do it without your support, and appreciate it and enjoy the partnership and friendship and the time we get to spend together. So
our support wouldn't mean anything if you guys weren't willing to do the work. So we're glad to work together.
It's not work, so it's good.
That's where you are sitting. It does sound nice. As I've been running around the floor, it is nice that you just get to sit the whole time.
He was up past midnight putting together this morning's short of 105.
No, as a scientist, I know that there's a lot of labor that can happen still sitting behind a desk.
Oh, in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck getting home, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, have a good
you.
evening.
Thanks, Jeff.
and,
Thanks,
see
Becky.
y'all later.
So, Saturday afternoon, we're sitting here with our good friends from Hive Tracks, Max and James. It's great to see you.
Very good to see you all as well. As you say, it's day 3, so
Yeah, we're on the day
we're in
3.
the final laps of the marathon, but having a great time, and it's as always a great event, and it keeps getting more engaging and bigger every year. It seems it's quite the phenomenon, especially for those of us who have been around these events and conferences for a while. This is something special.
It is. It really is. For our listeners, there might be a couple who don't know who Hive Tracks is.
Flip it around or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. It was.
I turned them all that way so that they don't flip out. That's all right.
With these
No, I appreciate it. There's a reason why she's
yes.
making sure, because I've had problems in the past. For the 1 or 2 listeners who may not know who Hive Tracks is, can you tell us, just give us a thumbnail sketch of it?
Go ahead, Max. I'll let you take that one.
All right, my name is Max. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hive Tracks. I'm very, very happy to be here. Hive Tracks, in a nutshell, is the digital beekeeping companion, if you will. We center around 3 big themes. One, we believe beekeeping is better together. So Hive Tracks Pro is a very nice way to share your apiary with your club, with your mentees. So it really helps to share the love for beekeeping. And sharing and storytelling is the next big one, because everything in beekeeping is about storytelling in a way. So what you can do with our app is turn everything you do in the yard throughout the season into a QR code that ends up on your jar of honey and tells your story as a beekeeper to consumers. So it's all about how do we share the beekeeping and how do we share it with the people and with each other.
That's exciting, because that's one of the things that I really like about the Hive Tracks software. I mean, you do a lot in the product and in the software, but one of the exciting things I like is the storytelling that it can do, and that you can track the source, your honey from source, and you can follow it, and you can and then produce a QR code that you can put on top of your label or on top of your jar that can let the consumer know the story about where that honey was produced, the floral source. And we've talked about this many times in our podcast. If you can tell a story about your honey, if you can tell just where it's from and the floral source, you can get a good dollar amount for your honey. You don't have to sell it for $12 a jar, a pound. You can sell it for $25, $30, $40 a jar if you tell the story. And that's exciting. That's a fun thing.
Yeah, and that's one of the objectives of the honey story, is to equip the beekeeper in the current climate of honey and honey authentication and fake honey and how do I know this is real. Mm-hmm. We've given the beekeeper a tool in their hand, not a third party saying this is about your honey. This is something from the beekeeper. And really, it was born out of my conversations at a farmer's market. Mm-hmm. This is how I sell honey at a farmer's market. This is what I tell people when they ask me about my honey. And so can I capture that information in that conversation from the farmer's market and digitize it, put it in a digital space, export that trust is really what I'm after into the digital space. So this is a manifestation of that we've been thinking about for a long time. And from my own experience in that, one-on-one selling environment, which is how you get real honey, right?
And when you mention the farmer's market, this is an active thing that you do. This is a part of your life.
It is. It's part of my identity as a person, as a beekeeper, as a creator of Hive Tracks. Mm-hmm. And so again, all the things that are in Hive Tracks are real very real to me and personal to me. And then one step further, the honey authentication piece is something that I deal with in my sales. I sell sourwood honey.
Okay.
It's a varietal honey that is faked all the time. Even in my local community, I can go to a store and see a jar that says that it's sourwood honey, and it's not.
Seriously,
So,
I've not heard
it is
that
a personal
for sourwood.
objective to get, again, it equipped me as a beekeeper with a way to say, this is my honey, this is different than that other. If this one has the story and the QR code and this jar does not have it, then for people who care, this one's going to be different. And so I wanted to give, again, the beekeeper a way to differentiate from the other honey without having to go to a third-party source of truth. That I know what my honey is. I made this, right? I know where it was. I can take you there and show you, where it was made. And I've been doing it for 15 years or whatever.
Right.
So
I like that. I really like that.
And I can take you there and show you as a really nice segue, because that's what now is possible digitally.
Right.
And that the framework is there, which is really interesting in the app, that it allows for a lot of customization. So you can really write your own text about yourself, upload your own images, write something about the plants, something about the honey. We get flavor notes in there, and then you can pull in the records that you recorded throughout the year onto it. So it's a really nice balance between what the app does automatically, a little bit of customization, and what is the most exciting for us is just to see what the beekeepers do with it. And
how creative they can be. Like the sample that I gave you, the sourwood, I created it specifically for NAHBE.
Okay.
So when you go to that honey store, it says NAHBE 2026 sourwood honey.
Nice.
And then this is where it came from. Again, you can customize it. It gives the beekeeper the flexibility to do that.
People have done it for weddings, for anniversaries.
Oh, that's really neat.
Or like if this is your Christmas gift to your neighbors.
Oh, I love that.
So it's not even selling. It's like, and people say, well, Hive Tracks is for bigger beekeepers. No, it's for the onesie, twosie, few backyard. And when you give your honey away to your family, they're probably tired of you talking about bees. Every time. Everybody has that experience.
Has that happened to you, Jason?
This sounds
But
personal.
now,
I was about to say.
But now you have a way to sneakily talk more about it, because then you put the QR code on there for your family and friends, and then you can communicate your love for what you do through that.
And even taking it a step further. If I have honey at my house and I share some with a friend and they're like, this is amazing, what a great way for people to learn about you, to be able to look at that QR code. So it's even friends of friends, friends of family, that you're able to introduce what you're doing to them. It's like an extension
of word of mouth. I mean, it is word of mouth, which in kind of these small community, small food, I mean, I'm all a big advocate of local, close food and all that. And how do you communicate that? How do you find out about it? And again, this is another channel, another vehicle in our digital space that we all live in with our phone, and then it's another way to do that. Yeah.
That's really cool. We've talked about the social side of your product, and we've gone. Our listeners can listen to other episodes we've done.
There's some historical episodes if they want to binge on.
But what you've done is, it really is a fascinating story of what you've done for the beekeeper. And someone extension a couple of weeks ago, or actually this week, we released an episode and we're talking about record keeping with a brick on a hive. And we've gotten some feedback on different brick stories. But this takes, one end of the spectrum is bricks on a hive. On the other end of the spectrum, you can use Hive Tracks.
I mean it's actual data on the other end of the spectrum?
There's actual repeatable data on the other end of that spectrum. And I like that. I mean, I think that really provides for the beekeeper a very useful tool that they can take forward and use in their management, not only in your storytelling of your honey, but in the management of your bees.
Right, and I'll mash the two together.
Please.
Because I still write on my hives, and I'm okay with people using bricks, but take a picture of it.
I do that actually.
Yeah, no, you take a picture, and then it joins the two worlds together, because there are times when it is convenient. If I have a honey super that I put on there, I put the date that I put it on there, and it was empty. I don't want to go to my app to see that. You know, so
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
don't get too far in the. Just mash them up together
That's great.
and use them together.
I guess so. It'd be do record keeping, something that works, and you can
again,
keep
this is a
detailed
tool
notes and visual
that
notes.
You can, that don't dismiss one for the other when they can both work better together.
I like
that, and the beekeeper as well. I mean, I've always been an advocate. This is not to replace the beekeeper. This is to make you a better beekeeper.
Yeah.
This is equipping you with the information, really to answer the question, what's next with my bees?
I think I just said this recently, but I think it's okay to say again. If you are a newer beekeeper and you need help and you go for help, having a record of what's going on in your colony is going to help those mentors or just the people who can maybe solve the mystery of what's going on. You having a record of what your last few inspections, it will make a world of difference.
And that's a great segue because
Okay.
that's one of our other big pluses for our HiveTrax Pro is that the sharing of records across accounts and mentor-mentees. So if a new beekeeper is using the app, which for a new beekeeper they're coming into this in the digital age, they're used to their phone, they do everything. Why they should be doing? They're probably expecting something. Here it is. You know, HiveTrax is the tool to do that. And then the mentor can look over their shoulder digitally.
Nice.
And they can share that back out. And so this group sharing mechanism that we have within the HiveTrax ecosystem is fantastic for that application that you're talking about, as well as if I've got a demo apiary for my club,
Right.
or if I'm a mentor and I want my mentee to see what a good management looks like, I can share my apiary. It shows up on their phone,
Nice.
and they can look at it, and vice versa. So again, that cross communication, sharing of that information, again, is helping new beekeepers and connect the mentor with their
And it's a
mentees.
little bit of nudging as well. I think, both the honey story to portray your records externally and then having a mentor or somebody else that you share an apiary with or you co-manage a hive, it helps with this, healthy habits, healthy hives, where you start to build the good habits of like taking a minute, understanding what it is that you just did in the hive, writing down the right information. And it always helps when you know that you're not just creating it for yourself, but you know that there is somebody else
Out
that
there.
you would want to refer it to. So these are other ways how we try to make it just easier for people to get into these good habits and starting small, starting with a few things, using images to start there. And then being able to share and discuss these over time at a club meeting or just having a few questions to say, look, this is what my last inspection looked like. I have two pictures here. Does that look all right to you? Am I missing something? And that sort of like to take away that doubt, that's really a big part of it.
I love the idea of a club having, having a teaching apiary and being able to, like I know University of Minnesota, or the hobby beekeepers from Minnesota have two colonies at the University of Minnesota Bee Lab, and they just faithfully start the packages and then track them through the season. But for those members to potentially, if this was enabled, to be able to, if they missed a session, to be able to go back and look at the record, or even if they were at the session, to be able to go back and look at the record, because you know how hard it is when you're just starting out to like put all of that together. And so I love the idea that clubs can use this and really help those new beekeepers, because what happens is, for a lot of people, is they go to the club session and then they go back to their own bees to do that management. And you're furiously writing it down, or you're
forget or whatever.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
a
can go
really
back and
good
look at it.
tool.
Yeah.
And it's
Really
also
good
so
tool.
easy to follow up with people. If if there's a 6-week gap, it's kind of, it's May and there's 6 weeks of nothing. It's like, are you all good? Is it like, has anybody been there?
Do you need to charge your phone, or?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do you need a
Just
hand
that.
here? And that's specifically when you get to like 3, 4, 5 mentees and you're usually checking in on them on phones and you potentially answer the same. Being able to just drop a to-do or drop a record. It could even be a record saying, well done, or just a to-do is like, hey, inspection's up, let's take
So
a
you
look.
have in-app communication between like
It actually
mentors?
works through the records. So in the moment that you share an apiary with somebody else, it appears in the mobile and the web app for that person. And then every time there is a record, you can customize the record however you want to notice it. So you can leave little messages or greetings in there and kind of little encouragement.
It's like a timeline. Like if you think of like your Facebook timeline or
Mhm.
Instagram
Right.
or something, it's a flow of events for that apiary, and you can put whatever you want
No, that's neat.
in it. And so if you look at like my honey story, and we've been sharing out one of my apiaries with people who are signing up as an example of like best practices. And I've started using the app in a way so that I can follow the records, and it's a story. It's like I did a split, added a queen, fed them. I visited the apiary. I added supers. I did a honey check. I'm just reading the record.
Right.
And it's the story of that hive from last April till I put them to bed in October.
There's some flowering information there as well. Where you take a picture of a flower or you take a picture of an insect. The app then tells you what it is and gives you the relevance around, is it pollen carrying or nectar carrying, which of these are relevant, and that's another area.
You should launch it. You should give a quick in that direction, the biodiversity.
Yeah, we've done.
Because this is a big direction that we're.
It's really been something that over the last few years it's started to become more and more as we understand that, of course, so much of a healthy hive has to do with the beekeeper interacting with the hive, but so much of it too is just the environment and understanding much better what are the plants, what is the environment that are most helpful, most suitable, and understanding to also get a bit of a baseline and a trend and an understanding around what are dearth periods, for example, what is blooming, what are native plants, which plants are pollen carrying. So what you can do in the app is you can actually add a pollinator garden. So you can add an apiary and a pollinator garden, and then keep track of the different flowers and plants that you have. And that's something that we're working more and more in, to see what are the recommendations, what can you plant, what can you grow to be most helpful. And then understanding, of course, the goal is always to have, depending on where you are, how many days of bloom do you have from February through November, right? How far can you go?
Okay, I don't know the answer to this, so I might just set you up. But when I go to my apiaries, I look, and right about 3 miles from my apiary, I start really noticing the plants. So is there a way to pull the truck over and take a picture of those plants and actually locate them?
Yes, that is possible. The information. So when you take a picture, the picture itself has metadata in it. It has a location, so GPS. That has elevation. It has time. So that then determines where that picture was taken.
We'll show up there. Oh, that's pretty sweet.
So that starts going, and then same way that you can share an apiary, you can also share a pollinator garden.
Okay.
So that's some interesting things that we will experiment some more with this year. Yeah. So to have a public pollinator garden that you can have with a few people, and then take some action, take some pictures. So in July of last year, we did a 2-week challenge to get people excited about this to track pictures, and hundreds of people participated, taking thousands of images of what is in bloom, as we sort of progressed toward this community-based flowering calendar, right? Nice. So understanding a little bit what is in bloom, where's the flow, and have this, this crowdsourced, if you will, biodiversity or environmental information.
That sounds great.
It does sound great.
It's expanding every year. It's fun to hear and fun to see you guys from where you started with Hive Tracks. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
2010. Yeah. EAS in Boone, North Carolina.
Wow.
Was the first time when we launched, first week of August 2010. And that's when we launched Hive Tracks. Some of the vendors here, Beetle Jail guy, that was his first.
The Beetle Jail guy.
That was his first conference that he ever went to.
Nice.
And I've known him ever since.
I love that. I love that.
There's a vendor sort of, culture and community behind that. But yeah, so this is what year 16, crazily enough.
Wow.
And
well, we look forward to hearing more about Hive Tracks, and we should have them back for a full episode to explore.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Everything that's going on.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
We'd love to do that and maybe talk about some use cases of folks that have used
future
it.
Directions we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Good plan.
Well, thank you. Have a good rest of your show. I know things are starting to tear down. I start hearing a little bit of the background. So
thank you all for
thank you so
having
much
us
for being
and,
here.
It's good to chat with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much, and safe travels home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, James.
We're wrapping up the weekend, and we're sitting here with our favorite Be Smart Design creator, owner, founder,
Guru.
Cliff Struhl. Cliff, it's good to see you finally. We've been passing each other.
Yes, I've been busy all day dealing with my dealers, helping them out, helping to sell more Bee Smart. We've had great traffic at the booth, and we've really found a good way to promote our products this year. We've had positive results.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, you've had so many people coming up to us saying, where do we get our free tool for talking to you, or a free prize? There's a promotion we had all December.
Right.
Did you have people come up and ask you for their...
We had people come up asking from you, and a couple of the YouTubers that gave their same thing. So it was very nice to give out the bottom board cleaners or some trivets and to everybody. And we were also giving out, I think, 3,000 free hive tools, the mini compact hive tools that we created.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
That's really
and
cool.
Generous.
So what else did you think of the show? What was really sparking the interest of everybody?
I think the show had a more open, current, updated look to it. I think there was bigger booths, so less black curtains, more open look to it. I didn't see anything really new, exciting, or different, but I saw a lot of upgrades on things that people had, and a lot more traffic this year than last year.
All right. And so what's your final takeaway of the show in terms of...
On a selfish note?
Sure.
Insulation, way more interest. Quilt boxes, way less interest. And we started to promote our insulated system as $50, 15 seconds, you have an insulated hive, because the dealers were all selling the combo for $50. Mm-hmm. Instant condensing hive, insulated hive, all the benefits of that, and our dealers were selling out like crazy.
And the combo consists of what?
The insulated cover and the insulated inner cover combo for 8 frame or 10 frame.
Yeah, we saw
people,
a lot of people walking around with that and their wagons.
Everybody was doing very well with that. A lot of them sold out of the hive stands very early. The trivet, the pollen patty holder for small hive beetles, I think they left with half a box between all the dealers.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
That's really good.
So overall, we had a good show. I had a new volunteer this year who was dynamite. She tracked every price at every vendor and told people where the cheapest one was throughout the show based on how people were changing their pricing. And like every 2 hours, she came back with a new list of who had what pricing.
And her name is Google?
No. Her name was Debbie.
Congratulations. Cliff, I know you're trying to get out of here so your staff can go home and get some rest.
Yep.
Thank you for stopping by.
Okay,
thank you for your support on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
And hopefully we'll be back next year when we get our act together with some new marketing. And we've also walked away with 2 new product ideas. One will be available probably in the next 3 months. The other will probably take a little longer, but you're going to be very impressed with what we're coming out with.
Excellent.
We look forward to hearing from you. And hear it here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Cliff.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
We are pressing our luck to the end of the show today. We have I've known Tom Nolan for many years. We've never really had a chance to sit down and talk. Tom Nolan from NAHBE Products. Tom, introduce yourself to our listeners real quick and then we'll get going.
Hi there. For the listeners of the podcast who may not know me or haven't met, I'm Tom Nolan. I'm the North American sales rep for NAHBE Products. We're the manufacturer of Formic Pro. We're we like to think of ourselves as the formic acid specialists, and we're here at the North American Honeybee Expo, winding down, almost out of gas, but still pretty pumped up and having a good time.
Yeah, literally.
I would just like to say I have 60 doses of formic acid that I bought from Better Beat just about an hour ago.
Yeah, I see that under your chair.
I'm so excited.
Makes me happy.
I'm so excited.
Keeps me employed.
But I just want to bring up a couple of things. So formic acid is really important to the industry because it is, I think, the best thing out there for a quick knockdown of mites. There are some great new products that, like for example, Viroxin and Naroa, but those products will keep a low population low, but there are times where you need to get in there and knock a product down.
Yeah.
And that's really the kind of the sweet spot, isn't it?
And particularly with some of the inexperienced beekeepers, they're always looking for what's the one product I can use, and as we all know, there is no one product. But our product, Formic Pro, probably I'd say is one of the best choices when you have a really high infestation. You've got a lot of capped brood, so you got a lot of mites under it. Formic Pro is probably one of the best choices you use to do that. And then in conjunction with the Formic Pro, we got some really good other items on the market like Miro and like some of the oxalic acid slow release products that can help keep those mites down. And I think we're learning more about that all the time as to when to use what product at what time, and
that's key.
That's key. But we're starting to see more and more people sort of, don't want to generalize, but starting to say, yeah, Formic Pro is my knockdown product, and this is my keep them down product. Yeah.
That's a different way to talk about mite treatment than I think what we used to, because we used to talk about controlling it, but now we understand there are nuances too.
Yes. And I forget who wrote that paper, but I came across a paper that came out of the UK, and the gist of the paper was we actually have some very good tools. People are just not using it at the right time, and there's still a lot of education to do that. We've got some good products on the market if we can get people to understand and use them properly.
And not only, I think even a finer nuance to that is to the regional timings for those products.
Yeah.
So what works for somebody in July in one part of the country may work differently at a different time in another part of the country.
Yeah. I was giving a presentation in Calgary, Alberta a couple months ago, and I was saying, this is my regime, this is when I treat, and of course the hand goes up, well, when should I put my Formic Pro on here? I said, keep in mind, I'm in Southern Ontario. That would be a good question for your experienced beekeepers in the area to say, when do our bees start? Because I actually don't know all the regions exactly, right? But it does, that is important to be doing it in the timing. The timing is critical.
A great illustration of that point. It's just that's something all of our listeners, no matter where you are, one of your best choices is to use the tools that we have, but work with the other beekeepers to understand when's the best time in your region to use that.
I have, one of the great things about YouTube is we can share knowledge now on YouTube. One of the downsides is we got to be cautious sometimes. Some of us northern beekeepers are listening to our favorite beekeepers in the southern U.S.
Right.
I'm going to try that. You say, hold on. That doesn't apply here in northern Canada.
Right. You want to do it at the right time.
Yeah.
Another issue with application is I think some people are a little hesitant to use formic acid because they've heard stories, and then when they do decide to pull the trigger, it's way, way, way too late. There are way too many mites in the colony. The colony is already suffering. And it won't really be the solution.
I think we talked yesterday about this.
We did.
An anecdotal story. I have a commercial beekeeper who's wanting to use Formic Pro. We're talking back and forth over the period of a year and a half. And I get a call from him out of the blue saying, hey, Tom, so I'm going to lose these colonies because they're on death's door. So I think I'm going to try some Formic Pro. Plus, I said to him, I'm glad that you're going to try it. I wish you would try it on colonies that are not this sort. But the good news, because he's a rather large commercial beekeeper, the good news is I get a call back from him a couple months. He said, I lost some colonies. He said, I knew I was going to. He goes, but the ones that I did treat survived are looking really good.
Oh, nice.
So here we are 3 years later. He's using it through his whole operation. And my concern with that is because some beekeepers are a little gun shy or nervous to use Formic, that they wait until an extreme case, which doesn't always work out. Sometimes you waited too long, and this is really unfortunately more common than I like. And and these are really experienced beekeepers. And of course it's hard for me because I'm biased. I've been using this product twice a year for the last 15 years. So but I guess on our part it's just more education. And then I try to hook them up or connect them with a commercial beekeeper in the area and say, hey, call this guy, he uses it. But I wish I had a better answer to how to deal with that. And that's an issue that's across the board. I get it from hobbyists who are, I want to use Formic, but, they've heard about queen loss or they've heard about brood kill. And I think it's part of our nature that, bad news travels better than good news. 100 beekeepers have a positive outcome. We're probably going to hear from the guy who had the negative outcome. but that's
the only one the other beekeeper will listen to.
But I'll tell you, big picture, our sales are increasing all the time. It's becoming, it's a mainstream product, and we're gaining ground with the commercial beekeepers all the time because they talk to each other. So I think we're making progress. But on that issue, whether it's our product or not, we have this saying we have at NAHBE, we're not in the mite killing business. We're in the honeybee health business. So the goal is not to let your mites get to such a level that they're so high that now I got to knock these mites down. They should never get to that level in the first place. We should, we had a trend in Southern Ontario where I live, particularly with the people who were inclined not to treat. They wouldn't treat in the spring, midsummer, no alcohol wash. Then they start seeing the mites. And now they got really high infestation, and they start sublimating with oxalic acid. And we're seeing massive drops, and they're posting pictures on Facebook. This is awesome. And they do a second time, there's a massive drop. And that's where we, and then they go into winter, and the bees look okay going into winter. And then spring comes around, they're either dead or they're dwindling. And we, I try to remind people, the mites are half of the equation. It's a transmission of the viruses.
Yeah.
And the higher mite load you have, the higher viral load you have. So, like I said, we're not in the mite killing business, we're in a honeybee health business. And if you want healthy bees, you keep their mite levels low. And that starts early in the season and continue to keep them low. But this throwing a Hail Mary at a hive that's on death's door, this is not good bee animal husbandry. So I'm off my soapbox.
No, I love that. I love that this is how we're ending the conference. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's been
thank
a
you
pleasure.
so much.
I
really
appreciate the opportunity to come speak to you guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we can get on with Dr. Heather Brockhardville, our honeybee health.
You can count on that.
And talk a little more in depth about some of the ways we can help people learn more about our product and use our product in conjunction with the other products they're using.
Let's plan on it. We'll do it. Thanks, Tom, for being here.
Thanks, Becky.
Safe travels home.
Thanks, you too.